Good afternoon, it's 2 o'clock, and the Code Board of the City of Tarpon Springs is in session. If you have a cell phone, please turn it off. Bobby, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Wade?
Present.
Mr. Perfidio?
Here.
Mr. Weeks?
Here.
Mrs. Tilliar?
Here.
Mrs. Archer is absent and excused today. Mr. Rollinston?
Here.
Dr. Matea?
Here.
Mrs. Eisner is absent, and your newest member, Mr. Ogle, is not here either. This completes your roll call, ma'am.
Thank you. There's a new member, his last name is Ogle, but was unable to attend today. I'm going to give the invocation and lead you in the pledge. Please bow your heads. Our Heavenly Father, we seek blessings on the task before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberations with wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality. We pray that our work this afternoon will find favor in your sight. Amen. And we'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the procedures for the Code Enforcement Board are as follows. It is the intention of this board to promote, protect, and improve the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Tarpon Springs by providing an equitable, effective, and inexpensive method of enforcing various codes within the city of Tarpon Springs. Any aggrieved party may appeal a final administrative order to this board, to the Circuit Court. Such appeal shall be filed within 30 days of the execution of the order to be appealed. Florida Statute 286.0105 requires any party appealing a decision of this board to have a record of the proceedings to support such an appeal. The procedure of this board is as follows. First, the city presents its witnesses and exhibits, after which the alleged violator is able to ask the city's witnesses any specific questions regarding their testimony. Secondly, the alleged violator is allowed to make a presentation and present his or her witnesses and exhibits. Then the city can question the alleged violator's witnesses. After both rounds of testimony, both on the part of the city and on the part of the alleged violator, each party is asked to give a closing argument, first by the city and then by the alleged violator. After those three steps are taken, this board will close the public hearing portion of the case to discuss it and take appropriate action. Before we begin the public hearings, we'll have all witnesses stand up and be sworn in by the secretary of the board. And a reminder, cell phones should be silenced.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You can be seated.
Thank you. There's one item of new business today. It's case number 228-00000104. Address is 111 North Safford Avenue, and it's Julia Fees. There was a email that came in late that's requesting a continuance of this till next month. I'd like some feedback from the board, and if you'd like to grant that continuance, or if you wish to hear the case at that time, if I could have just your feedback. Would you like to hear the case at this time?
No.
No?
I'm fine with waiting.
Waiting?
I'm fine with waiting.
Waiting.
The only question I have is what's your justification for continuance?
I can answer that.
Okay,
Ms.
please.
Miller?
Ms. Fee, the person is out of town. She's out of state. She said she got notified late, which isn't the case. And then I received an email from her attorney. I called the attorney back. He can't make it today. He said he'll try to rectify all this before the next board. So we may not be here for that case next month, depending on if she files per the permit.
But you did say she did receive it late.
She did receive.
Okay.
She did receive
Fair enough.
everything, and then I talked to her attorney. He sent an email at 10:46 asking to have it continued. Then I called him on the phone.
Okay, thank you.
Is the
Has there been a
unpermitted-
request for continuance in the past, or is this the first one?
This is my first one. I know that the board
Oh, from
has.
these people?
Oh, this is the first one that I'm aware of. Yeah, the first one.
Thank you.
For this case?
It's an issue of unpermitted work on a property, is that not the case?
Yes. They did.
Is the work continuing while we continue this?
No, it's work that has been completed that wasn't permitted, so they
Okay.
have to go back to the building department to get, I don't know what it's called, post-permitting. After the fact permitting.
Okay.
Do you feel that the building is unsafe for anyone at this time? Is it occupied? We always have concerns about safety.
It is occupied. We have not done an interior inspection of it because we haven't had permission to enter the
Oh.
structure. I'm sorry, I'm Keith Mead, Deputy Building Official for City of Tarpon
You wanna come up?
Springs. I apologize.
This is,
Can you- yeah, can
we're
you-
just kind of discussing and getting our bearings here.
Okay, but I have seen pictures from when they listed it on Zillow and Realtor.com of the interior, and everything appears to be safe from what I can see. I don't see anything that poses an imminent danger at this time.
Is this property being used as a rental?
To my knowledge, yes.
Oh,
Because it's not homesteaded and it's not her primary address.
Is anybody in it now, do you know?
well, that makes it a little
Yeah.
different.
We're not sure if anybody's living in it now.
I don't know if I need to make a motion, ask for a motion. Could I hear a motion from the board, if you'd like to continue it?
I'm concerned now.
I make a motion that we continue it at the request of the attorney.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Matea?
Yay.
Mr. Rollinston?
Yes.
Mrs. Telliar?
No.
Mr. Weeks?
No.
Mr. Perfidio?
No.
Ms. Wade?
Yes. Now we have a tie. We don't have an attorney to ask. Can you give us any further guidance? They're trying to ensure that someone renting that property is not in danger.
The only way to verify that would be to do an interior inspection of the property.
Okay.
That's the only way we could.
So for my edification, okay, they did all this work and put it in the rental pool. They did not pull any permits to do the work.
They pulled two permits have been pulled on that property for an addition. One was in '99, no inspections were done, permit was closed. And the most recent was, I believe, 2015.
You know what? Since this is more specific testimony, let's back up.
Okay.
And we're going to start again,
Yeah.
and we're going to open a case and move on from there, and hope that this is the way to do this. So we're going to hear testimony from the city at this
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
We'll do official introductions and everything.
My name's Ed Miller. I'm the Code Enforcement Supervisor for the City of Tarpon Springs. This is in reference to case number 22-80000104, 111 North Saffron Avenue. Exhibit 1 includes all the photographs. Exhibit 2 includes all notices to include notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3 contains administrative documents to include the case summary, property appraiser, and tax collector records. Exhibit 4 includes the affidavit of the posting and sign posted. All the photographs and exhibits that were given to the violator are exact copies of what is being presented to the board. All notices were mailed to the property owner of record as determined by the Pinellas County property appraisers and tax collector databases. All NOVs and NOHs are sent, return receipt requested in first-class mail. Madam Chair, please accept all exhibits into the record as evidence.
Bobby will do so, and there's no one here to object to that, so those are being received into the record.
We've had contact with the owner via phone and email. On April 7th, 2022, the initial inspection showed visible from the public right-of-way a screen room that was built without a permit, an apartment on the back of the house without a permit, including plumbing and electrical work without a permit, an unpermitted shed in the backyard. The property is zoned for only one unit. On April 11th, a notice of violation was mailed to the owner of record via first class and certified mail. The green card for the certified letter was returned signed to code enforcement on April 19th, 2022. On May 2nd, Ms. Fees called to request a 30-day extension beyond the deadline in the notice of violation that was granted. June 5th, 2022, a reinspection showed no new permits were pulled. October 3rd, 2022, a notice of hearing was mailed to the owner of record via first-class mail and certified mail. The green card for the certified letter was returned to code enforcement with UPS tracking showing delivery October 6th, 2022. On October 4th, the sign was posted, an affidavit of posting was signed. On October 13th, the final inspection was done, and no permits were on file. Deputy Building Official Keith Mead will now give his testimony.
Good afternoon, Keith Mead, Deputy Building Official, City of Tarpon Springs. Were there any questions up to this point for me directly?
Just an observation, okay? So this initially, they were informed back in April that, hey, you need to pull permits.
Correct. This
Okay,
property,
and-
she purchased the property in, March of last year.
Okay,
March.
21 is when she purchased the property.
okay, so March of '21, the property's purchased, then they
Yes.
started doing work in April of '22.
No, that's when she was advised that she purchased the property with the addition already added onto it.
Okay,
So she purchased it as is. She didn't do any work, but she purchased a property that had unpermitted work done to it. And we were informed of that, so we had to investigate it.
okay.
Aware of that in April of '22.
Correct, correct. And we gave her plenty of time we gave her the information as far as getting an after-effect permit to rectify the situation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Do we have exhibits to show?
I'm trying to pull up Realtor.com because they actually show some of the interior photos when this was sold last year. And here some of them are. That's the exterior, and this is one of the interiors. Pretty much the same area. There was one picture that concerned me. Keep going down there, I think it's the next one. This little tiny kitchenette appears to be added, and that appears to be part of the addition for a mother-in-law suite, because I know they were renting it out as 2 units previous to her purchase. I don't know if they still are, but they were before. Because there was a A on the front door and there was a B on the back door.
And it's zoned as a one-unit lot?
Correct, correct. Single family, not multifamily.
Is this the addition to the property?
I believe so, yes.
And she would have had access to that information before the purchase, wouldn't she?
Yes.
About the zoning and all of that?
Yes, correct. Like I said, this is not her primary address and it's not homesteaded, so that leads me to believe it's a rental property.
And when you guys made contact with her, did she indicate she was aware she had a problem, she was working toward, like, was there any kind of response from her?
Yeah, oh, there was. Once we advised her that you bought a property and it's got unpermitted work, she went through the steps to try to secure a contractor, but I think she's having a hard time finding one who will take on this project because it's after the fact. So there's a lot of things that may or may not have been done to code, and in order to bring it up to code, it may require removing the addition. We haven't gotten that deep into it.
If I'm looking at this properly, the property appears to be well-maintained and in good condition, relatively new. As I read this, is the violations related to lack of permitting?
Could
Correct.
you speak into the microphone for us, please, so we can all hear? Thank you.
I'm sorry?
No, just can't hear you.
We couldn't hear you.
The
You
mic.
weren't
Oh,
speaking into
my
the microphone.
question was that the property from the photos appears to be well-maintained and in good condition, and is the violation that we're addressing simply one of permitting? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
So we're looking at the permitting of the property rather than a health or maintenance violation.
Well, that
Is
can't be
correct?
assured though, sir, because of the fact that they haven't actually seen it inside. They don't really know for a fact whether that's true
I
or
thought the
not.
pictures he just showed us were the inside.
But that's just a picture.
Okay, so we're not going to depend on photos anymore. Okay,
Well, not when they're not taken by our people.
I'm sorry?
They were taken by
by our-
Realtor.com, not by
It
staff.
wasn't the city taking those pictures.
No, I understand, it wasn't the city.
I have a question. So if it's not zoned for two and she has two, why, does she still have two, or did somebody get in trouble?
I can't answer that. I don't know if there are still two families or two separate individuals living in that unit, or if it's just one person now. I don't know.
But I think he has a good point. The case before us is these two violations or three violations, and that's what we should be addressing.
And in addition to the addition on the rear of the house, they allegedly turned into a mother-in-law suite. There's also, if you look right here on the right side of the house, there's a little porch. And now it's a screened-in enclosure. And that would require a permit as well, which was not permitted. And that is visible from the right-of-way.
Yes. After viewing the evidence, would anyone like to make a motion on how to proceed?
I move based on the testimony, evidence, and facts presented in the law that at the time of the alleged violations, Section FBC 105.1, permits required, count 1 and 2, and City Code 6-1, 2017 of Building Code 2018, IPMC of the Code of Ordinance of the City of Tarpon Springs was enforced and in effect. The respondents were in violation thereof.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Mattea? No. Was it no, sir? No? I'm sorry, I didn't hear your answer, Dr. Mattea.
I'm sorry?
Your answer was?
No.
No, thank you, sir.
Nay. Negative.
Yes, sir. Mr. Rollinston?
Yes.
Mrs. Telliar?
Yes.
Mr. Weeks?
Yes.
Correct.
Mr. Fridio?
Aye.
Ms. Wade?
Yes.
Your motion carries.
That should be followed by a second
Penalty.
motion, if someone would like to make that.
I'd like to just ask a question of how much time you think something like this would take to resolve?
To completely resolve, that'd be hard to say without obtaining a licensed contractor and to see the amount of work that needs to be done. But we're simply asking her to apply for a permit.
Permits, right.
So you're
To
just
apply
asking-
for it, yes.
Okay.
Just make
All right.
application, and after that, it depends on the quality of the application and the contractors and supplies and everything else as to a deadline.
And a reasonable time frame to get the application would be?
What, to make application?
Yes,
And we're
to-
only
to
talking
have
about
it-
to make application, not getting the permit, because that's a process in itself. So I would say 30 days to apply for a permit
And we'd be.
would be reasonable.
We'd be reasonable, okay.
Yep.
That motion.
I move that the respondent shall have until November 18th to bring the property into compliance with Code Section Florida Building Code 105.1 and City Code 6-1, 2017, or suffer a fine of $25 a day per day thereafter the respondents remain in violation of said code.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Matea?
Yay. Yes. Affirmative.
Aye.
Mr. Rollinson?
Yes.
Thank you. Mrs. Telliar?
Yes.
Mr. Weeks?
Aye.
Mr. Porfirio?
Aye.
Ms. Wade?
Yes. And I want to make sure that we put the exact numbers on that second. He did say FBC 105.1, but we want to make sure it says counts 1 and 2, and City Code 6-1, 2017 Building Code 2018 IPMC. Just dotting the i's and crossing the t's.
Ms. Wade, can we verify something with the,
Yes, sir.
basically when he did his thing, he said to come into compliance with all this stuff. We're just asking to come into compliance by applying for a permit.
Yes.
I don't know if that hurts the motion or not, because he said to come into compliance with these things.
We did not ask,
Okay, I'm just, I
Yeah, the
just didn't-
violation was the permit, so
Okay,
yeah, that's.
Perfect. I just want to make sure that.
yes, sir, it's just for the permit aspect, because that's all we see before us.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. We have affidavit of compliance for our next item of business. It's item number 02-0000325, 715 Diston Avenue, Charles Burrows Estate. Mr. Burrows has appeared before us before, but he's no longer with us, or anybody. He's passed away. Would anybody like to make the motion to accept the affidavit of compliance?
I move that we accept the affidavit of compliance and award the city $343.50 for the cost incurred in prosecuting the case.
This can be done as a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
I didn't get a second, though.
I second.
I did not.
Well, I didn't say it, yeah.
You didn't say it yet, okay.
I was thinking
after
it
the
though in my head.
You thought of it?
There we go.
And it just happened because he thought of it.
That makes
was
it
perfect.
declassified. We're good. The next item is a little bit complicated.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't have legal representation. There was a letter received that indicated
Thank you.
He saw the letter.
an offer to settle by the
Yeah.
family of Mr. Burrows.
Question, Madam Chair? It's a weak question. It's not a hard one.
Okay.
Is this property now in such a situation where it wouldn't, if we reduce the fine, that it's a non-issue anymore? I mean, is it?
Is the house still standing?
No, the house has been demolished, it's just a vacant piece of
Okay,
property.
good point. No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But one question I have is, reading this, it says there were no prior cases for this property. But yet I see here.
That's incorrect.
Yeah.
Okay.
20
There were
years.
not, this is the first case for this property. There were cases after, but that was the first case that was open. There were no prior to that case.
But you're dating the first case to,
All
to,
future cases that might have occurred were resolved. This was the only pending case
Right.
until today when you accepted the affidavit.
so it's a 20-year carry-on of,
But the house is gone, it's just an empty lot.
yeah.
there a timeline of activity between 2002 and 2022?
It's sat vacant.
Not relevant, I think.
It just sat as is. It was building fines. Correct?
Were there ongoing attempts to reach the owner or send them notices or messages or something?
Yeah, we kept doing re-inspections, but there was no action taken for that amount of time. He has since passed, and now I believe it's the daughter is asking for the fine reduction.
I'm sorry?
He has since passed, Mr. Burrows,
Okay.
and his daughter has taken over the estate, and she's the one asking for the fine reduction.
My only concern is it does not follow the law. And
Right.
Mr. Trask isn't here to read us. We weren't given. Do you want to postpone till she has a chance to?
Well, the other question I would have is, what's the relevant paperwork that follows through with this? I mean, okay, it's just,
Just us.
it's
Yeah.
just this. There's supposed to be a packet of paperwork that comes with it.
She was given the fine reduction request information and advised that we would like any sort of supporting documentation. 3 times she declined to provide it and said she only wanted the letter to be presented.
Okay, well then, I make a motion not to approve the fine reduction then. You know,
And the fine is $185,000 for an
Well,
empty lot.
yeah, but the thing is, it's kind of like, there's no documentation saying,
Continue
here's
it.
what here's why I want it, here's the supporting documentation. You know,
There's a,
I think it's wrong.
And it will go to the
She's
city
the,
council, and they'll settle for the
Yeah, they'll have-
$1,000.
administrator of the estate, though.
yes, but there's
What
a,
does-
there's a policy that you follow that says if, in the documentation from Mr.
documentation.
Trask from before, it
yeah.
said if someone is requesting it because of a health issue or something, supporting documentation has to be provided that validates that as being so.
And there's no documentation here, so, you know,
This is hard.
I mean, it's a moot, they're gonna take, they're gonna go to the city commission anyway, and they're
that's
gonna
fine.
accept it, so.
That's
yeah.
fine,
Yes.
but right now,
So would
yeah.
somebody like to make a,
Yeah, I'll second,
I'm
I'll
okay.
He already
second,
made
I'll
one.
second his
Yeah.
motion.
all right,
Could you repeat the motion, please?
yes.
oh, I said to deny the fine reduction.
Based on the fact that
Oh,
there's
ba-
no,
Yeah, based on the fact there's no supporting documentation, you can't I can't in good conscience approve the fine reduction.
For $1,000.
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, the fine, yeah, the fine stands as it is, and, you know, because there's no supporting documentation.
Could we also just continue this? Could we continue it until more documentation could be provided?
It's incumbent upon I guess not the plaintiff, but the defendant to present this stuff,
there's a motion on the floor and a second. And a second.
right?
And this is discussion following that, and then we'll
Right.
vote on it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Does the city have any input into the situation regarding the people who own this and the property itself?
No.
Really into it.
Roll call, please.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Matea?
No.
Mr. Rollinston?
Yes.
Mrs. Telliar?
No.
Mr. Weeks?
Yes.
Mr. Fidio?
Aye.
Ms. Wade?
Yes.
Motion carries.
We have no further items on our agenda. Do we have any minutes to approve?
Not this time, no, ma'am. They'll be presented at the next meeting.
There's no one to comment from the audience. Board or staff, do you have any comments?
I have a question, and I guess you're on the hook for this one. What's the status of the code enforcement officer?
I was just gonna say that October 17th, she either goes for her polygraph or her background, and then the 19th, it's vice versa, polygraph or background. I can't
Okay.
remember which date. Then she'll have to go for the medical, physical, stuff like that. Hopefully, knock on wood, next meeting, she may be here and just be an observer.
Okay,
I don't want to put her name out there or where she's coming
Got
from
it.
because she's in a job now and we don't want her
nope,
to maybe lose her
understood.
job if something were to fall through.
So we're projecting maybe December,
Yeah, I'm hoping November, but December should be definite.
yeah, but I mean, active in December, but,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, got it. Thank you.
We'd like to express our appreciation for all of you for getting a lot of
Yes.
things settled that we never see.
Yeah.
And your work continues that nobody knows about.
Props to Officer Boone up there. I mean, we've been cleaning up cases. We've probably done over 70 cases now without having to do the paperwork and come in front of the board.
Right.
So,
Thank
you very
much. We
Hey.
appreciate that.
Talkers,
Thank you.
That's always the goal.
I have one.
Yes.
One concern is that there is no attorney here today, and that I would hope that it is not the case in the future.
no, I had talked to Mr. Trask before we did this meeting, and he said for what we were presenting, we didn't need an attorney, and that if something came up, then.
Well, I understand that,
But
yes, sir.
we will have an attorney for Code Board once they get things straightened out.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you. Bobby, you have anything? No? Code Board meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.